10 o'clock a.m. and I would like to call to order, thank you, the meeting of the Board of Directors of Friday, April 24th, 2026. Please note this meeting is being recorded. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Thank you. Sorry, I was distracted. I saw a little person run across the wall. All right. Starting with Director Cochran, who's absent. Devlin.
Here.
Garbarino.
Here.
Giudice.
Here.
Hernandez.
Here.
Maston.
Here.
Holden Peters.
Here.
Parr.
Here.
Parrish is absent. Verdoni.
Here.
Snyder.
Here.
Thier.
Here.
Second Vice President Hardeman.
Here.
First Vice President Rabbit.
Here.
And President Hill.
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Okay. Thank you. Remember to turn on your mics for the decorative discussion. Also, please raise your hand and we will call on you accordingly. Director Thier, please lead us into today's pledge. Allegiance.
Oh, you have to pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Thier. We'll now move to agenda item number 4, public comment. Madam Secretary, please continue.
Agenda item 4 is a public comment for any and all items on today's agenda. If you wish to speak on an item on our agenda or address this board, I'll call your name to join us at the end of the table to provide your comments. We're going to start with those attending in person today before moving to the speakers on the phone. I know we have somebody that would like to speak later on, so we'll hold that card to the later item 10A. I'm going to introduce Mr. Dave Rohde. If you could join us at the end of the table.
Good morning. My name is Dave Rohde. I'm the San Francisco Policy Co-Chair for the Climate Reality Project. Before adding to my remarks from last month about CARB's low-carbon fuel standard, I want to thank Ms. Ko Wong for forwarding the full report to the board. Commensurate with CARB's misconstrued emissions calculations, your website says the district uses renewable diesel in all its buses, reducing emissions by 65% compared to petroleum diesel. That statement is simply not true. I know you're just repeating what CARB says, but it's incumbent upon you to try and be truthful with the public. California isn't the only one fudging the facts. It all stems from a massive mistake made at the Kyoto Protocol in 1997 when the UN agreed that countries or states have only to count the emissions generated within their boundaries. That's why California can ignore the emissions generated in the Midwest by the agriculture industry, which supplies the crops for California's biofuels. Another example of this factual obfuscation is hydrogen. If you impart hydrogen fuel and use it in your buses, you only have to count the tailpipe emissions, which is nothing but water vapor. That's what the big appeal of hydrogen is. But that totally ignores what's known as the well-to-wheel emissions. Hydrogen is made mostly from natural gas, with its methane derived from fossil fuel. So hydrogen users are completely ignoring the emissions from drilling and refining the fossil fuels from which it's made. Which brings me to your grant application for the Low Carbon Transit Operations Program, item number 8B on today's agenda. The program requires that you demonstrate greenhouse gas emissions reduction. So I reached out to Eric Reitz, program manager for the LCTOP program, and learned that the guidelines for emissions calculation in this grant are exactly the same as the calculations used by CARB's low-carbon fuel standard. What's weird is that if you're using petroleum fuel, LCTOP requires that you include the well-to-wheel emissions, but not if you're using renewable diesel. But even aside from the out-of-state emissions, CARB is also ignoring local refinery emissions. A chemical engineer I work with has learned that California biofuel refineries like Phillips 66 in Contra Costa County are using an increasing amount of hydrogen in refining renewable diesel. All that hydrogen they're using is derived from methane, a greenhouse gas 80 times more potent than CO2. If all these life cycle emissions are counted, there's no way you or CARB can claim that your fuel is reducing emissions by 65%. Mr. Mulligan, 7 years ago, you referred to renewable diesel as a bridge fuel. I'd like to know when you plan to reach the other side of that bridge. Speaking of answers, how do I get them? I and several other climate leaders that I'm working with would like to set up a meeting with bridge managers and board staff so that we can learn what your plans really are. Thank you. I'll be in touch.
Thank you, David.
We have no other speaker cards. Is there anyone else in the room that would like to address this board under public comment item number 4? Right? See any? I am going to ask Justine. Justine, I believe you have a speaker on your line. Would you like to introduce your speaker?
Thank you. I do have a speaker on the line, and then I would like to poll afterwards. I believe a few other people joined. Our first speaker this morning is Lois. Lois, please go ahead and unmute yourself. You'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Hello. Thank you very much for having this meeting and allowing the public to attend. I just want to do a follow-up of my last month's comments regarding the change in the bus schedule, that you have taken away the 150 and taken away very many other schedules that are causing hardship to the community of Marin County. To begin with, my update for the past 2 weeks have not been a good one. The first day on April 12th, I did take the 120 because I do not go into work during the commute hours. I usually go into San Francisco somewhere between 11 and 1 and return home at the last commute bus. And I always park at Spencer for the past years. My first experience was the 120 had an altercation. There was a woman that was picked up on the Mission Street on the 120, and by the time we got to the bridge, the police were notified and had to escort the woman off. My experience of taking buses on Mission Street is very unpleasant, with all the drugs, with all the homeless, and people who are screaming in the streets. I've never taken the 150 or 101 or any of the buses to get home from Marin because I am fearful for my life. San Francisco does have a crime issue, and that is another reason why there is vacant to vibrant, where there continues to be very many open spaces and millions of square foot that are not rented. My request is that you revisit at least putting the 101 to stop at Spencer during the day. I've seen it pass there, and it's a very, very, very easy stop. It would just take a minute, even if there's no one there. It takes a lot less time than picking up all the people who go to the North Gate, to go to Marina, and all the tourists that we spend very many minutes that interfere with the commute that we had prior to COVID. I check my clock and I add an hour of commute daily, at least a half an hour each way. I've tried different routes to get into San Francisco. I park at the Spencer. I have a family member drive me down to Bridgeway. On nice days, I've parked at Spencer to walk down to Bridgeway. Each one of these are taking me at least a half an hour to an hour. So it is not only myself, but it is also the economy of San Francisco that is being impacted by you not having the 101 bus that's at least stops at Spencer during the day on multiple routes. People who commute in decide that they might have an after-dinner party that they didn't know about with some of their coworkers. They cannot stay because there is no way to get them up. Yes.
Lois, you've reached 3 minutes.
Okay, please reinstate the 101 to stop at Spencer so people can get into the city, can get home.
Lois, you've reached your 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to ask if anyone new has joined us that would like to speak this morning. Please press ** to unmute yourself and give me your name. Again, if you'd like to speak at the board meeting this morning, you'll need to press ** to unmute yourself and give me your name. I am not hearing anyone else this morning. Thank you.
That concludes public comment.
Good. Madam Secretary, please continue to the next item.
We're going to move on to item number 5 to approve the consent calendar. Are there any questions from board members on our consent calendar?
Seeing none, may I have a motion on this item?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Please do a roll call.
Thank you. We're voting on item number 5 for the first and second, starting with Director Cochran, who's absent. Devlin?
Aye.
Garbarino?
Aye.
Giudice?
Yes.
Hernandez?
Aye.
Maston? Moulton Peters?
Yes.
Park?
Aye.
Parrish is absent. Brunoni?
Aye.
Snyder?
Aye.
Beard?
Aye.
Second Vice President Ardaman?
Aye.
First Vice President Rabbit?
Aye.
And President Hill.
Aye.
Thank you. That passes with everyone present.
Okay. Please go on to the next item.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
We're moving on to item number 6A, and that's the report of the General Manager by Dennis Mulligan.
President Hill, members of the public, board members and staff, my written report is before you. I'll just highlight a couple items. I'll start with travel in the quarter because that's why we're all here. And so if you want to get from San Francisco to and from the Redwood Empire, it's our bridge, our bus, or our boat. March, we had unusually nice weather for March. And so March travel was very, very good compared to March a year earlier. Bridge traffic in March was 6% above March of 2025. Since bridge tolls are how we pay our bill, that's encouraging. Our bus ridership showed 1% up, but as you may have heard yesterday at the Transportation Committee, we have problems with the data we're getting from Clipper, so we believe that's an undercount, and we'll come back with updated bus numbers in a couple of months. With respect to the ferry side, in addition to fabulous weather, we also had some Giants home games, unlike March a year ago. And in spite of how well the Giants did or did not do in those games, we had robust ridership. So our ferry ridership in March was 40% above March a year earlier. So while recreational travel was strong in March, the commute is still way down. Downtown San Francisco is slowly coming back. The office vacancy rate is about 30% now, and that sounds really, really high, but it was 39% a year ago. So there is slow, steady growth, and we're very encouraged by that. The morning commute, though, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. southbound bridge traffic is still down 25%. And so we are still seeing less overall vehicles in spite of the great weather and the additional recreational travel we had. But things are trending in a good direction, and so I just want to acknowledge that. I also want to acknowledge that the good weather was helpful for visitation on our sidewalks. And last fall, we put in counters on our sidewalks that measure bikes and pedestrians. And with the lovely weather in March, we had 280,000 sidewalk visitors. So that is a lot of people. So it's our best month since we put the counters in last fall. So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that. And it's very exciting. Then earlier this month, on April 12th, the Bridge District with the other North Bay transit operators and transportation funding agencies rolled out and implemented transit service changes known as mascots. And in general, it's been incredibly successful. We did do significant service changes. It's important to acknowledge with limited resources, we cannot afford to address, each individual's need at every hour of the day and night. But we want to address the best collective good that we can, and mascots is achieving that. Changes include smart increase to 48 trips on weekdays and 24 trips on weekends, a significant increase in train service. Route 101 service is now express, so when you get off the train in San Rafael, you have a 101 bus every half hour, and during the peak period, every 15 minutes. That takes you kind of like a train on rubber tires into San Francisco quickly. We made other changes to the system. The Route 120 did replace the 130 and 150. The bulk of the ridership in Southern Marin is from Mill Valley, Marin City, and Sausalito, and it's along Bridgeway. So we've greatly expanded transit service in Sausalito with half-hour service most of the day on Bridgeway from before 6 a.m. to after midnight. And so it's really encouraging to see that. We also, as you know, have very robust ferry service to Sausalito. So it is the most well-served community in the entire North Bay for transit is the community of Sausalito. We also made changes in the Sonoma commute trips. On the Sonoma commute service, we combined all the routes into 172, so it offers service just in the commute period every 20 to 30 minutes from Santa Rosa through the west side of Petaluma to San Francisco. With respect to the Spencer Avenue bus stop, that is one of our least used bus stops before the pandemic and after the pandemic and before mascots. So historically, it has not been well utilized. People that drive there as a park and ride location can drive to other locations, but we have not abandoned it. During the morning commute, we have 16 buses that stop there southbound in the morning, and we have 15 buses that stop there northbound in the evening for those that commute and use that as a park and ride location. But as I said, with limited resources, we cannot address every person's individual needs at every hour of the day or night. But overall, it's been very, very successful. There's been a lot of positive press. Very, very few customer complaints. We have heard from a couple of folks that rode the 172X out of Santa Rosa, and we've heard from a couple of people that used Spencer Avenue midday. But overall, it's gone amazingly well, and I just want to thank all the transit agencies, SMART, Marin Transit, Santa Rosa City Bus, Petaluma Transit, Sonoma County Transit. I want to thank our funding agencies, the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, the Transportation Authority Marin, and Sonoma County Transportation Authority, because without all of them collectively, this would not have taken place. For our team, I want to thank our bus operations staff. We had a lot of boots on the ground those first few days. I want to thank our marketing team for coming up with incredible communication graphics, and I want to thank our planning staff. So that has gone amazingly well, and we're really thrilled with that. I'll now come to the part of the meeting I enjoy the most, and that is the Employee of the Month. So I'd like to ask our Bridge Manager, Dave Rivera, to escort the Employee of the Month, Bridge Lieutenant Michael Bailey, to the front of the room. For the record, this is not the first time Michael's won this award. It is his second time. He also won it in 2020. Michael is recognized by his colleagues for his leadership. He is an exemplary leader and is acknowledged by all of those that work with him, directly or indirectly. He's done some key things to take care of his coworkers and colleagues. Our security team at the Bridge has one of the hardest jobs in the district. They save a lot of lives, but they don't save everybody. And so he created and has managed and navigated a peer counseling group where folks get together and they talk through things. They don't bottle it up. And his colleagues are very, very grateful for him for establishing that. And that's beyond all the other things that we were doing before. You know, we have counselors come in and stuff. But this is folks getting together and just kind of talking about how's it going. Because of the jobs they have, that cannot be emphasized enough. So he is instrumental in keeping all of those in the security department healthy. He also plays instrumental roles when they do debriefs after critical incidences. And we have all sorts of strange things that happen here at the Bridge. You have no idea. And so it's always important to get everyone together and say, let's do a debrief. How does it go? And his colleagues wanted to recognize him for that. He is from originally Solano County, grew up born in Fairfield, spent his formative years there, went to high school there, lives nearby in Solano County. And he brought his wife, Anita, and his 4 children here, and I'll let him introduce them.
Good morning. That's my wife, Anita, back there. My daughter, Abigail. My son with the mohawk. It's baseball season, so he rocks a mohawk during baseball. It's Maverick. And Everly, the shy one, the little one on the end.
Anyway, congratulations. Let's say a few more words after we had to introduce the family. Now you get a sneak peek.
Captain Lauria actually asked me to write a short speech, so hopefully he wasn't pulling my leg, but. Good morning, members of the board and Mr. Mulligan, and thank you for this incredible honor. It is humbling to stand here, especially considering the first time I received this award was exactly 6 years ago in April of 2020. Back then, I was out on paternity leave as my youngest daughter was just born. And we were at the start of the pandemic, so we weren't allowed to gather in rooms like this. Being able to accept this today in person is pretty cool. I sincerely appreciate this honor because this nomination came from my peers or those I supervise. While we don't do this job for recognition, receiving this is a powerful personal affirmation that I'm doing something right. I think many of my colleagues can relate to the Daddy's Bridge phenomenon. Whenever my kids see the Golden Gate Bridge in a movie, a commercial, or even a cartoon, they point out and shout with such excitement, "There's Daddy's Bridge." That pride is something I carry with me every day. I feel immensely blessed to work in a role that offers such deep personal fulfillment. I consider myself lucky to be in a career where I can say that I can truly make a difference, a privilege that isn't found in every field. Moreover, I'm grateful for the people I stand shoulder to shoulder with. I work with literal heroes, incredible men and women who show up every day committed to saving lives. The reality of bridge patrol can be heavy. The things these officers see and experience isn't normal for the general population, but our officers deal with these stressors on a day-to-day basis and is often a silent struggle. But the gravity of what they do and what they encounter has lasting effects on their well-being. Our officers do extraordinary work. They deserve more credit for the amazing impact that they make on this community. And I truly believe it's one of the most difficult jobs out there. While my own responsibilities have evolved over the years, suicide intervention will always remain a core passion of mine. However, I found new fulfillment in my current roles, both in recruiting the next generation of officers and serving as part of the peer support team. Being part of that team that is helping our officers navigate the bad days has often given me new purpose. I'm extremely proud of our team and positive impact they're making on the department. I want to take this opportunity to specifically thank Mr. Mulligan and the board for your commitment to expanding our mental health resources in recent years. Your support ensures that our personnel don't just get through their shifts, but they make it home and through their entire careers in better, healthier places. Thank you again for this honor and for your continued support of our team.
That concludes my report, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Dennis. Excuse me. Thank you, Dennis. Are there any questions from the directors? James?
On page 14, traffic and bicycle incidents, there's a location in there, other. Where is that?
I believe other is like Merchant Road, Dave, right? And other things.
Yes, that's correct. Other areas. Give me 1 second. Let me pull it up.
So we have incidents that occur on Alexander Avenue. It's a downhill, sometimes rental bikes. People haven't ridden a bike in 10 years, and they get on a bike and they walk up the hill to the bridge, splat along the waterfront, so they're feeling good. They go across the bridge, and it's like, oh shoot! And so we have instances there that occur, and then we have a lot on the bridge sidewalks. But those outside those core areas, we just categorize as other, and they're generally rare. There's a couple other areas in addition to Merchant Road, right, Dave?
Yes, sir. So we do have other areas underneath the structure, what we call Lower Conzelman. So the bridge, we have our areas that most people know about, Alexander Avenue, and we have Merchant, but we also have Lower Conzelman, which is owned by NPS, but we do capture that information.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other question? Go ahead.
It's not a question, but it's a compliment. Dennis, I had a family member take a bus from San Francisco, the 120, to Mill Valley in the morning of April 12th, the first day of the change in service. And I just wanted you to know that they reported that the driver was so helpful to people in San Francisco, directing them to which bus to take in the new schedule and being very clear. And it was a great ride. So compliments to you, driver.
Our bus manager, Hytham Hamden, will pass that along to his team.
Thank you. Excuse me. Are there any other questions? No. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Please continue to the next item.
We're going to move on to item 6B, and that's the attorney's report. Kim, you want to start your report?
Thanks, President Hill. My written report's before you. I'm happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions or comments? Apparently not. Thank you. Thank you, Kim. Are there any questions related to attorney's report? Nope. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Please continue to the next item on the agenda.
We're going to move on to item 6C, and that's the report of the district engineer. As a reminder, the engineer's report can be found in the B&O committee packet, and that's agenda item 5 from yesterday. John Eberle is here to present the report. Go ahead, John.
Good morning. Morning, President Hill, members of the board. My written report's in the packet. There are a few items I'd like to bring to your attention. First, the short-term bridge electrical system repair project is progressing along. Our forces have completed installing the temporary platforms that were necessary for this project. Contractor has also installed some access systems that they need at Midspan and at the North Tower. Equipment replacement is progressing at the South Anchorage House. It's almost complete. We'll complete that next week and then move on to the other 6 locations. Last month, the board authorized use of an A62T Aspen aerial lift, and that device came out on April 13th, and we started practicing with it and also trained our staff. I'm happy to report last night we actually did some production work on the northbound direction, so that's the east side of the bridge, and next week they'll be doing the southbound direction. So that work is progressing well. April 16th, we received approval from PG&E to turn on our solar panels at San Rafael Bus. So we're generating electricity there, which is great, and hopefully that'll reduce our operating expenses and on the electric bill there. And then last week, the contractor working at Larkspur Ferry Terminal completed repairs to berths 1 and 2. We had an emergency contracts in the general manager's report, also in the engineer's report. That work is now complete, and both berths 1 and 2 are operating. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions on my report.
Are there any questions? Go ahead, Barbara.
Thank you for your report, John. I just happened to be in the B&O meeting yesterday, and you left out one little detail about your new toy, your new lift that we saw pictures of. Do you want to spill the beans on that one?
Certainly. Yes, well, we brought it out, and as I mentioned at the board meeting last month in the B&O, it's one of 4 devices like this in the nation. And
that wasn't the part.
Go ahead.
Well, when we went out there, was approximately 1 or 2 inches of room to spare to get the device to actually fit on our bridge. Getting across the sidewalk, first you're in the curb lane, you have the curb, you have the sidewalk, and then you have the top cord, and you have a rail on the top cord, and you had all those up. We had about 2 inches.
Well, we appreciate your engineering expertise on that.
But it did fit, so that's the main part. Thank you.
Are there any further questions? No? Okay. Thank you, John. Madam Secretary, please continue to the next item.
We're going to continue on to item 8B on the agenda, and that's the report of yesterday's Building and Operating Committee. Chair Garbarino, please begin your committee's report to the board.
Thank you, Amaret and President Hill. The Building and Operating Committee is recommending approval of board agenda item number 8A1 to approve award of contract number 2026D034, Online Solicitation Management System to EUNA Solutions Incorporated of Sandy Springs, Georgia, in the amount of $146,103.36 for a 3-year term base and with two 2-year optional renewals, exercisable at the district's discretion in the amount of $104,829.16 for the first optional term and $115,574.14 for the second optional term, for a total amount of $366,506.66 as detailed in the staff report, and I so move.
Thank you. I have a motion on this item.
Second.
Give it a second.
Got a second?
Thank you. Didn't hear it. Before I ask for a vote, are there any questions related to this item? Seeing none. Thank you. Madam Secretary, please do a roll call.
Voting on item 8A1 with a person second, starting with Director Cochran, who's absent. Devlin?
Aye.
Garbarino?
Aye.
Giudice?
Yes.
Hernandez?
Aye.
Maxson?
Aye.
Moulton Peters?
Yes.
Parr?
Aye.
Parrish is absent. Rodoni?
Aye.
Snyder?
Aye.
Fear?
Aye.
Second Vice President Hardeman?
Aye.
First Vice President Rabbit?
Aye.
And President Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. That passes unanimously.
Do you have any others?
No, Mr. President, that concludes my report.
Okay. Thank you. Excuse me. Madam Secretary, please continue to the next item.
Thank you. We'll continue on item 8B on the agenda, which is the report from yesterday's Finance Auditing Committee. Chair Rabbit, please begin your committee's report to the board.
Great. Thank you very much, President Hill. And once again, a big thank you to Vice Chair Parr for covering yesterday's Finance Auditing Committee meeting. Our county was in the midst of budget hearings, and I would much rather have been here than listening to what I have to hear within the county. With that, the Financing Auditing Committee has one item for recommendation, item 8B1, which approves actions as detailed in the staff report relative to the Low Carbon Transit Operations Program to authorize the general manager or his designee to execute and submit related certifications and assurances and agreements on behalf of the district and approve submission of the grant application for the MV Mendocino replacement project in fiscal year 25-26, and I so move.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion on this item. May I have a second? Yes. Before I ask for a vote, are there any questions related to this item? Seeing none. Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Please do a roll call.
Thank you. Voting on item 8B1, starting with Director Cochran, who's absent. Devlin?
Aye.
Garbarino?
Aye.
Giudice?
Yes.
Hernandez?
Aye.
Maxson?
Aye.
Moulton Peters?
Yes.
Parr?
Aye.
Parrish is absent. Rodoni?
Aye.
Snyder?
Aye.
Fear?
Aye.
Second Vice President Hardeman?
Aye.
First Vice President Rabbit?
Aye.
And President Hill.
Aye.
Thank you. That's unanimous.
Okay. Thank you, Chair Rabbit. Do you have anything further to report?
Mr. President, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Thank you. Madam Secretary, please continue for the agenda.
We're continuing on to item 8C on the agenda, and that's a report of yesterday's Rules, Policy, and Industrial Relations Committee. Chair Hernandez, please begin your committee's report to the board.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary, Mr. President. I have first also to thank Barb Parr for chairing the meeting yesterday when I was able to be here. Lots of heavy lifting. This is actually the longest report that I will ever present. Again, thanks, Barb. Appreciate it. Our committee has 3 items for recommendation today, and I'd like to start with item number 8C1 to authorize the setting of a public hearing relative to Assembly Bill 2561, status of job vacancies, on Friday, May 22nd, 2026, to take place at 11 o'clock a.m. or immediately after the regularly scheduled May board meeting in the boardroom, Administration Building, Golden Gate Bridge, Toll Plaza, San Francisco, California, and authorize the general manager to set annual public hearings relative to the requirements of this Assembly Bill, as detailed in the staff report. And I so move.
Second, Rabbit.
I have a motion as, excuse me, before I ask for a vote, are there any questions related to this item? Seeing none. Madam Secretary, please do a roll call vote.
Thank you. Voting on item 8C1 with the first and second, starting with Director Cochran, who's absent. Devlin?
Aye.
Garbarino?
Aye.
Giudice?
Yes.
Hernandez?
Aye.
Maston?
Yes.
Moulton Peters?
Yes.
Parr?
Yes.
Parrish is absent. Rodoni?
Yes.
Snyder?
Aye.
Thier?
Aye.
Second Vice President Hardeman?
Aye.
First Vice President Rabbit?
Aye.
And President Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. That passes unanimously.
Thank you, Chair Hernandez. Please continue with your report.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next item is 8C2 to authorize execution of a First Amendment to contract number 2020-D-050 HRA FSA and Retirement Premium Payment Benefit Administration Services with Navia Benefit Solutions, Inc. for a total not to exceed amount of $459,000 for a term through December 31, 2030, provided funding is available within the district's annual budget and as detailed in the staff report. And Mr. President, I so move.
Second. Alderman Peters.
Thank you. I have a motion on this item. May I have a second? Before I ask for a vote, are there any questions related to this item? Hearing. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Please go to roll call.
Thank you. Voting on item 8C2 with the first and second, starting with Director Cochran, who's absent. Devlin?
Aye.
Garbarino?
Aye.
Giudice?
Yes.
Hernandez?
Aye.
Maston?
Aye.
Moulton Peters?
Yes.
Parr?
Yes.
Parrish is absent. Rodoni?
Yes.
Snyder?
Aye.
Thier?
Aye.
Second Vice President Hardeman?
Aye.
First Vice President Rabbit?
Aye.
And President Hill.
Aye.
Thank you. That passes unanimously.
Thank you, Chair Hernandez. Please continue with your report.
Thank you, Mr. President. The last item for recommendation is item 8C3 to approve actions as detailed in the staff report relative to implementation of Senate Bill 707, open meetings, meeting and teleconference requirements as follows. And there are 3 points. I'm going to do my best not to stumble on these because the word disruptions appears about 25 times. First, approve an amendment to the rules of the board, Rule 2, the rules of the board, Let's start again. Approve an amendment to the rules of the board, Rule 2, the rules of order, A, meetings, and adopt a policy on disruptions to the public participation during remote or hybrid meetings regarding disruptions to remote public participation during a public meeting as attached to the staff report. If approved, the disruption policy will be included as Appendix E to the rules of the board. And 2, approve an amendment to the rules of the board, Rule 17, Public Information Guidelines, regarding expanding outreach to invite groups that do not traditionally participate in public meetings to attend board meetings. And 3, approve remote meetings for the district's citizen advisory committees to enhance public access and to improve attraction, retention, diversity of advisory committee membership, with the understanding that the board will need to make such findings every 6 months after this initial approval, and I so move.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second, Rabbit.
Thank you. Before I ask for a vote, are there any questions related to this item? Thank you. Madam Secretary, please do a roll call.
Thank you. Voting on item 8C3. I'm sorry. Wow, that was 3. You're right. There's 3 items. It was a big meeting. Starting with Director Cochran, who's absent. Devlin.
Aye.
Garbarino.
Aye.
Giudice.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Given that I may have exaggerated many times that I said the word disruption. That's not, yes.
Maston.
Aye.
Moulton Peters.
Yes.
Parr.
Aye.
Parrish is absent. Rodoni.
Yes.
Snyder.
Yes.
Thier.
Yes.
Second Vice President Hardeman.
Aye.
First Vice President Rabbit.
Aye.
And President Hill.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes. And I thank you.
Thank you, Chair Hernandez. Do you have any further things to say?
No, I think that's quite enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
From me.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Please continue the agenda.
Thank you. There are no addresses to the board under agenda item number 9, and we're going to continue on to agenda item number 10A, which is a report from the Advisory Committee for the nomination of officers of the Board of Directors for 2026-2027. Chair Parr, please bring in your committee's report.
Thank you. Before I get to the recommendation from the Advisory Committee for the nomination of officers, let me just give a huge thank you to you, President Hill, for your service. As President, as First Vice President, as Second Vice President, and as a longtime member of the board. We know you will continue your dedication and service to the people of San Francisco and to all those who count on the work and mission of the Golden Gate Bridge. You have been and will continue to be a champion in the fight against climate change. You have been and will continue to be a thought leader on getting people out of their cars and into alternative modes of clean transportation. You have been a devoted and dedicated member of the board for more than 11 years, having joined the board in 2015. Again, our deepest thanks for you, and we look forward to your continuing contributions to this district and to San Francisco.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now for my report. The nomination of officers of the Board of Directors for 2026 to 27 met in April and recommends the following slate of officers effective May 1st, 2026 to December 31st, 2027. First Vice President David Rabbit of Sonoma as President of the Board of Directors. Second Vice President Greg Hardiman of San Francisco as First Vice President. And Director Gabarino of Marin to assume the office of Second Vice President. With thanks to my fellow committee members, I so move the approval of this slate of officers.
Thank you, Chair. I have a motion to approve. May I have a second?
We have a second from Director Hernandez.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see it. Are there any questions or comments from the board related to this recommendation?
Public comment.
Okay, we'll go to public comment.
We do have someone to like to comment on this item, and then we're going to pull the public line just in case to make sure there's no questions or no comments on this recommendation. But Eli Hill, please join us at the end of the table.
Morning, President Hill, members of the board and staff. I am Eli Hill, and thank you for accepting my public comment on this item. I will try to stay within the time limit, although I have to admit there is some temptation to test the outgoing president's willingness to exercise the gavel on his own son. Could be a memorable capstone to his tenure. Let's see what happens. My father's public service did not begin here. Since 2008, he has served on San Francisco's Bicycle Advisory Committee, including as chair for much of that time. Before bicycling was as mainstream as it is in San Francisco, and before critical mass made urban cycling visible in a new way, my father was simply doing it. He rode his bicycle every day to and from downtown San Francisco, down Market, and back up every evening. Not as a statement or photo op, mostly, I think, because he believes that the city works better when streets work for everyone. That has been a through line in his advocacy here. Street configurations that are safer and more efficient for pedestrians, cyclists, transit riders, and vehicles alike. This is not ideology. It is geometry, safety, throughput, and human beings moving around. His service on this board began when the San Francisco Board of Supervisors appointed him to the Golden Gate Bridge Highway and Transportation District in 2015. That appointment made sense then. Because this district is not just about the bridge as an asset. It is about connection and keeping transit affordable and reliable. It is about making sure pedestrians and cyclists can safely cross one of the most iconic pieces of infrastructure in the world. It is about doing that work patiently, meeting after meeting, budget after budget, and policy after policy. I also want to say something about where he came from. He came from very modest and at times very difficult beginnings in the Pacific Northwest. And those experiences shaped a lifelong belief that public institutions matter and that access, affordability, and dignity are not abstractions. So when he speaks about public service, mobility, and public good, he speaks from his lived experience. As his son, of course, I am biased, but I am also proud of his life's work that has been about helping people move safely, affordably, and reliably through the Bay Area. And proud that this board has given him a place to continue that work. Thank you, outgoing President Hill, and I am confident in incoming President Rabbitt, this board, General Manager Mulligan, and the dedicated staff of the Golden Gate Bridge Highway and Transportation District to continue delivering unswervingly for Northern California. Thank you.
Thank you. Excuse me. And you won't be surprised that I'm going to be working to electrify all the houses in San Francisco.
It's a good project.
And we need more bicycles. Before we take our vote, or any comments here? No. Okay. Holly? I didn't see.
So, Bert, I just want to tell you that the moment I joined this board, you were so welcoming and so kind. And I'll never forget that the first day I walked into the room, not the virtual room, but the actual room. And the other thing you did, you didn't miss a beat, and you said, "Are you riding a bike?" And every meeting subsequent, you made it your mission to get me on a bike and riding. So I want to thank you for that. Your commitment to the transportation, to bicycling, to different modes and cleaner, greener transportation and the climate is just unsurpassed. And having you lead this board has been one of the highlights of my service on this board. And I like all the other leaders too. Don't think I'm dissing anyone. But I just want to tell you that I really, really appreciate you, your leadership, and I also love your son. So, that helps. But thank you for everything that you've given me and this board.
Well, thank you, Holly. Does anybody else want to praise me or something?
I'd like to say,
Go ahead.
I appreciate your leadership, and it's been, wonderful hearing about the advocacy that you believe in. But I have a weird connection with my right-hand man, Patrick Buelo, that I rely on every single day in my regular work, because Bert was his scoutmaster, and you taught him so many skills that I rely on, oddly enough, through your mentorship of young men in your other, and it's just a testament to you as a holistic person, and you're really teaching the next generation, and I'm benefiting from it now. So I thank you for what you've taught him, and the help every day for me, actually.
Thank you very much, Chris. Hernandez, you're next.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm not sure that anything that I could say would be, I suppose, more meaningful than hearing such admiration from your son. But what I will say is, as a board member sitting here next to you, we used to sit together over there a lot. I want to thank you for your inspired thinking that has and will remain something for this board to thank you. That will remain for this board. You put us on another level in terms of innovative thinking. This board will be forever changed by the level of your contribution. Your history, your upbringing, as Eli, your son Eli mentioned, all contributed to the person that you are. And as someone who, and I feel like I'm someone, we meet on many levels in terms of our upbringing, our experience, our outlook. And so I have huge respect for you. I want to thank you very much. As someone who has sat in your position as president, the responsibility is heavy. And making tough decisions on a daily basis for what happens to this board and for, because the buck stops with you, and always keeping the interests of the board at the forefront. It's a very heavy responsibility. And I respect you for everything that you've contributed here as a director and as president. And I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you very much, Sabrina. We've had a lot of talks. Mrs. Moulton Peters.
Bert, I just wanted to agree with my colleagues on everything they've said. You have been a marvelous role model for active transportation for this board. I want to acknowledge the comments that Eli made, so appreciate those. And Bert, because of you, I am going to ride my bike to a board meeting one of these days. Thank you.
Yeah. It would be great if we made the bike thing larger. Okay. Thank you very much. Jim?
Yeah. Well, Bert, you've been a great seatmate, a mentor, and a friend. I thank you for all of that, and I honor your passion for this board, the bridge, and all of our communities. And I want to thank you for all you've done in the past, are doing now, and will do in the future. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is Mr. Rabbit.
Bert, I want to thank you very much. And Eli, thank you for being here and sharing those words. I think, as we all know, this is a very special place, partly because we get to be the stewards of an iconic bridge. But like everything, it's always about the people. It always comes back to the people. And I know selfishly for myself, I love being on this board because of all the people that you get to interact with from different counties, from different experiences, different walks of life and perspectives. And everyone brings all that experience here to this table and to this building. And we create some pretty special stuff going forward. And obviously it's the people and the staff that is excellent and everyone else. But it's also your contribution in bringing together those experiences and those passions for alternative transportation modes, and the conversations that we've had are invaluable. And I can't thank you enough. And we've been sitting around each other now for the last, 11 years at least. Again, I think the contribution of the whole and the perspectives of each individual really make the bridge and the bridge board, I think, a very special organization and entity. And just want to thank you for your continuing participation and for pushing out your perspective and sharing that so willingly. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Appreciate from you who knows so much about the North End.
Thank you. I would really just like to echo all of what my colleagues have said, and also thank Eli. I will hold in my heart your comment. The most iconic piece of infrastructure in the world is what we get a chance in this moment to be able to be a part of and honor. But I had the honor of traveling to Kansas City with you. And on a national level, I saw your courage to get up before that national forum and speak on behalf of and advocate for all of the things that we hold near and dear to protect this infrastructure. I also, you don't know this, but I have 4 bicycles. So I will try and ride one with Barb. Yeah. And the next meeting. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't mention where they came from. But thank you from the bottom of my heart, dear Bert, for your inspiration.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think we're finished. Finally.
We actually have public comment. Mr. Rhodey would like to comment.
Okay, yes. If there's any public,
Come on up, Mr. Rhodey.
Yeah.
I'll be brief. Sit down, I think. I am heartened by all the warm remarks that you all made about my dear friend Bert. Bert is the reason I've been showing up at board meetings for the last 7 years. He invited me the first time, and I haven't missed a board meeting except when I had cancer for a while. And I consult with him, he doesn't give away your secrets or anything, but he continues to encourage me, and I will continue to speak here, and I will continue to support Bert in his climate activities, including messages to the board here. I mentioned trying to set up a meeting with you all to get more exchange with you, and certainly Bert will be supporting you in the electrification of everything in San Francisco. And thank you so much for being an inspiration to me.
Thank you, Mr. Rhodey. I do have to pull the public line, so I'm going to pass it over to Justine. Justine, I'm going to have you pull the public line to see if there's any public comment on this item 10A.
Certainly. Is there anyone that's joined us that would like to speak under item 10A? Please press * to unmute yourself and let me know. Again, if you have public comment under this item, please press * to unmute yourself and let me know. Madam Secretary, I'm not hearing anyone this morning.
Thank you, Justine. No more public comment.
Thank you. I would like to say just a very short thing. And that's the fact that we've got to go electrification. We've now 2 world wars with hydrocarbons, which are just how many of you remember Desert Storm? Never solved. Kept on going. The only way it's going to be kept on going is when we electrify. And with that, okay. Thank you very much. Where am I? Okay, thank you. I have a motion and second. Madam Secretary, please do a roll call vote. I'm embarrassed doing that.
I expected you to say that.
Voting item on item 10A with the first and second, starting with Director Cochran, who's absent. Devlin?
Aye.
Garbarino?
Aye.
Giudice?
Blessings to you, Bert. Yes.
Hernandez?
Aye.
Maston?
Yes.
Multa Peters?
Yes.
Parr?
Yes.
Parrish is absent. Verdoni?
Aye.
Snyder? Beer?
Aye.
Second Vice President Hardeman?
Aye.
First Vice President Rabbit?
Aye.
And President Hill.
Aye. Okay, turn that down.
Thank you. That passes unanimously.
Okay. Thank you. Very thank you. I have a motion second. We did that. The motion passes. Taking back the agenda, Madam Secretary, can you continue where I left off, please?
Certainly. We have no unfinished business under item 11. No business to report under item 12. Item number 13 is communications, and if any directors would like a copy of any communication, to contact my office. Last night, one did come in, so that's why there's a blue piece of paper in front of you to revise the fact that we did receive a comment last night, and that's the big change that's on that blue piece of paper.
Thank you. We have reached the end of the agenda. Thanks to everyone who joined us today for today's meeting. May I have a motion to adjourn this meeting? So moved. Second. You got the second also. Okay. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Please read the name for today's adjournment.
Thank you. We will adjourn this meeting with a moment of silence in honor of Jackie Cochran, wife of our past President and Director Jerry Cochran. Gregory Snyder, father of Chris Snyder, and Mario Perez, friend of Director Giudice.
This concludes the meeting of the Board of Directors. The time is 11:01.